and then Marvin Bagley at 2 when Luka and Trae
that
Young
one
were
was
on the
bad. That one was just that was the one that just broke them. I mean,
yeah. Well, because the top 5 of that draft is DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, Jaren Jackson Jr., Trae Young, and then Marvin Bagley number 2. All right, let's wrap up with the Sacramento Kings, Mort, who made one of the more surprising picks of the lottery when they took Davion Mitchell at number 9, despite having a ton of guards already. So how do you see him fitting in? They have De'Aaron Fox, they have Tyrese Haliburton, who was their, one of the steals of the draft last year. You still have Buddy Hield. How do you see Davion Mitchell fitting into this Kings backcourt rotation?
It's a really good question. I know that for a fact that I love him. I mean, I think defensively he's already an NBA player. There is offensive upside as well, but I do think it's going to be tough to him to swing up to like the NBA 2 because he's only 6'2". Mm-hmm. So I think he has to play sort of a point guard role, even though I also question whether he is like a true point guard or whether he's just one of those, what's the comp I'm looking for?
Avery Bradley types?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, but better than Avery Bradley. But yes, I mean, just a guy who's not a true point, but he's just a little bit short. So, like, I just don't know what you do there. I don't. I mean, you're not moving off of De'Aaron Fox, I don't think. Like, he's your star. Tyrese Haliburton, I would be open to moving for the right package, but it doesn't seem like the Kings are open to that. So maybe they just go, screw it, let's go 3 point guards and then let everything else work out on its own, because that seems to be their philosophy every year.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have seen it work. OKC is the most recent example with CP3, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Dennis Schroeder. Although,
well, Shai's a 2 though. He's 6'6", right?
Right. I was gonna say he has more size. Well, Haliburton's 6'5", but yeah, I mean that is a bigger backcourt than what the Kings can trot out.
That's fair with Haliburton's size. That's actually fair. Like, he is taller. So if you move Buddy, you could actually put Tyrese at the full-time 2 guard. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think my play starting off, I don't think Davion Mitchell is going to be a starter. Like, I think you're going to do until if you move Buddy Hield at some point, or until you move Buddy Hield. We saw that Kings 3-guard lineup with Fox, Haliburton, and Hield. Not great defensively, but an absolute effing flamethrower on offense. So I would start those 3: Fox, Haliburton, Hield, Harrison Barnes at the 4, Rashawn Holmes at the 5. Right. Davion Mitchell comes off the bench.
To back up both guard positions?
Yeah. Because you have Terrence Davis there as well.
That's not a bad solution. I mean, I don't love Buddy Hield at the 3, but you're right. I mean, offensively, that could be really potent. And then you have Mitchell who can come off for defensive purposes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other problem is their wing depth kind of sucks otherwise. Like, unless you're going to slide down Harrison Barnes to the 3, which I guess you can, but I think he's more effective as a 4 these days.
Yeah, I don't think you would want that.
Right. Unless you're like trying to force Marvin Bagley in the starting lineup, but
no. You
have to just hope the ship has sailed at that point.
Can we just talk about that, by the way?
Yeah. We have to, because I'm not going to ask the question, is he signing an extension? Because the answer is clearly no.
But why is he still on the roster, Brian? I mean, this is just poor asset management.
Yeah.
Like, look, if you traded him after the 2nd year, there would still be more teams out there going, all right, maybe we can save him. But now he's 3 years into it, and teams are like, yeah, no, we can't save him. This is what it is.
Well, I mean, he only played 13 games in that 2nd season. So
it doesn't matter.
I know, but maybe teams were thinking, okay, let's see what he can do when he's healthy. Let's see if he can build upon. But yeah, I mean, now it's been 3 straight seasons in which he's averaged
14 to 7.
14 and 15 points, 7 to 8 rebounds a game.
In 25 minutes. He's very consistent.
Yeah, right. Not many blocks, not a great 3-point shooter.
No passing, what to speak of.
Yeah, you still don't really know what position he's best suited to play. Like, in theory, center.
Yeah.
But he's not a great rim protector, and he doesn't have the size to hold up there. So is he like that traditional four that you have been harping on is completely dead? Yeah. So like he needs to recast him. So he either needs to develop a 3-point shot or become a better rim protector and like realize that his future in the league, if he's going to have one, is at center.
Mm-hmm. And I think the shot could come. The rim protection, I don't think is going to come as easily.
Yeah, but I mean, their depth chart just makes no damn sense because they have Rashawn Holmes, who they got back on an absolute steal of a contract. It is still criminal that no one paid him more than the Kings did.
Yeah,
but
that's
you also have Tristan Thompson, you have Alex Len, you have Damian Jones, and you have Marvin Bagley. Like, Rashawn Holmes is quite literally the only guy in that mix who I feel even remotely good about.
It's not good, is it?
No. It's really not.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking over their depth chart right now. I don't even want to call it depth.
Right. But I mean, that's the problem too. I mean, so if you start Harrison Barnes at the 4, which again, I think he is most effective at that spot.
Yeah.
Your options at the 3, if you don't go with a 3-guard lineup, are Mo Harkless and Robert Woodard.
Oh God.
Yeah, like this is a disastrous rotation.
Yeah, it is.
This is like my mind is still in fantasy football season because NFL Week 1 starts tomorrow. So we just had drafts. This is like when someone spends $120 on their first 2 auction picks and they're left with $80 and you're like, uh-oh, I have to fill out the rest of my roster now. Like they spent all their money on De'Aaron Fox and then now they're like, oh boy, well, I guess we're gonna have Bo Harkless as our starting 3. Okay. Like whereas the Clippers, it's like, oh wow, they have so many fun permutations for starting lineups.
Right.
The Kings, it's like, oh my God, who's gonna start for this team and who's gonna back up? Like, what? This is a disaster.
And the funny thing to me is one of their guys like flying under the radar that could have potential of doing something, Jamias Ramsey, is a guard.
I know.
Like he's does not even playing the position where you kind of needed to. And like I don't know how much they expect Mo Harkless to play. I have to assume quite a lot. Right?
I guess
because
so.
Who else would be getting those minutes?
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's got to be Hield. Like, you almost have to start Hield at the 3 by default just because you have no other good options.
I have to ask this question.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
How much of this is Monte McNair? How much of this is Vivek Ranadive? Because I want to believe this is all Vivek Ranadive.
Yeah, I mean, because Monte McNair hasn't been there long enough for this to all be his problem, right?
Yeah.
Like these issues date back far beyond his tenure.
Right, and I also think that Monte is probably handcuffed a little bit in what he's allowed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I was about to say the original sin, but like, how many original sins are there here? Because, I mean, they've just wasted, you've been in the lottery like basically every year since the last, like 10, 12 years at this point?
Yeah.
And so, you get DeMarcus Cousins in 2010. Great. Then you spent consecutive lottery picks. This is 2012 through 2015. Thomas Robinson at number 5. Ben McLemore at 7. Nick Stauskas at 8. Willie Cauley-Stein at 6. And then Marquise Chris, who they traded to Phoenix at 8 the year after that, who they traded for Papagiannis at 13, who like just completely busted out of the NBA. And then who is it? They got 28 as well. And that was for Skal, or was that for Bogdan? That was
Skal, right?
Yeah, I think it was Scal. And then they got Bogdan as well. Bogdan was the best player they got in that trade by far.
Yeah. So I will defend that a little bit because, I mean, Thomas Robinson was projected to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
for example, like
these weren't they weren't like perceived reachers, just none of them worked out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Marvin Bagley at 2 when Luka and Trae
that one was bad. That one was just that was the one that just broke them. I mean,
well, because the top 5 of that draft is DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, Jaren Jackson Jr., Trae Young, and then Marvin Bagley number 2.
Yeah.
And like hell, I mean, Mikal Bridges at 10, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 11, Miles Bridges at 12, Michael Porter Jr. at 14. Like they almost there are so few busts in that draft class, but they somehow found. It's like Marvin Bagley and Kevin Knox are the only 2 guys you're just nope, not gonna happen for him.
And I wouldn't even call Bagley a bust necessarily. It's just compared to the other players around him, it just doesn't look good. I really wonder if that 2018 draft, Brian, if that just broke that organization in some way.
I think absolutely. I mean, because the rationale for not picking Luka was we didn't want a second ball handler next to De'Aaron Fox, and now you have Davion Mitchell and Tyrese Haliburton.
You're right.
It's like you immediately realize the error of your ways, and even like go by that logic and say, all right, we don't want to take the ball out of De'Aaron Fox's hands. You could have picked Jaren Jackson Jr., who I know he's got the health concerns, but he's a substantially better player. And can you imagine a Jaren Jackson Jr. Rashawn Holmes front court?
Oh, that would be fun,
right? Like it's just so infuriating what they're doing to poor De'Aaron Fox. Because like this guy, I was thinking about this last night.
Mm-hmm.
Where would he rank among the best young NBA point guards?
Wait, Fox, you mean?
Yeah. Like I think he's below Trae.
Yeah.
He's below Luka.
If we classify Luka as a pure 1. Yeah.
Right. I would put him below Shai Gilgeous-Alexander,
who I classify as a 2, really.
Okay. And then Ja Morant, I put him below.
Wait, you put him below Ja, or you put Ja below De'Aaron Fox?
I would take Ja over De'Aaron Fox, but it's close.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I could go either way. I mean, I'm kind of waiting on Ja to do what De'Aaron did this year, for example, like 25 plus points, 7 plus assists, and I think Fox is becoming a little bit more of a 3-point shooter.
Yeah,
like they're very similar in that regard.
Yes.
But I understand your logic. Ja had a better rookie campaign, for example. He came in and he's a more influential player over the first 2 years than what Fox was. I think that's fair to say. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we just count on the trajectory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's close. I can buy that. So what do we if we agree that Luka is sort of just a basketball player and not a quote unquote point guard, and if we agree that Shai's a 2, because come on, he's 6'6", he's like, I don't think they're using him as a 1 moving forward.
Right.
Then it's what, Trae and Ja, and that's pretty much it. Of the
I put him over. I mean, Lonzo Ball isn't a point guard either. No. But I put him over Lonzo. Obviously put him over Markelle Fultz.
Oh, LaMelo.
LaMelo is the other one.
Oh, so you put Fox over LaMelo?
No, again, just based on trajectory, I would take LaMelo over Fox.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, but either way, your point is well received. That is that De'Aaron Fox ranks high in this endeavor. Yeah,
like I put him over Darius Garland.
Yeah.
I love Darius Garland.
For sure. And I do too, but like, let's not kid ourselves here. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Like put him over Kyra Lewis Jr., we should be talking about this guy as one of the most promising young players in the NBA, and he is just buried in King's stink. It sucks.
Yeah.
But
we keep talking about how Karl Anthony Towns might be the next one to want out.
Yeah.
We might have to look in Sacramento at some point.
Well, I mean, like, I'm wondering if he can overcome this, because again, 25.7 assists per game on almost 48% shooting last year. Like, we should be talking about this guy as an all-star.
Yeah, of course we should.
Do you think he can overcome the Kings being the Kings and get into that conversation this year?
I think he was in the conversation. Like, what you're asking me is, can he play so well that he drags this team up to a mediocre record by his teeth?
Yes.
And like, honestly, yes, I think he can, but I think it's so unfair to put that on him, though. Like, he's 23 and just came off a year of 25-7.
Yeah.
Like, what more can you realistically ask for this from this guy?
28-8, I guess.
Oh God, yeah, but like even then, it's really one of those things. Like, does that fit within the construct of the roster, which is just so crappily put together?
Right.
Yeah, I hope so. Like, so my answer to you is I hope so, because I want De'Aaron Fox to have a good NBA career. He already has a good NBA career, but I want the all-star pedigree. I want him to have success. I love this kid. I think he's great. So yes, I hope so. But I have zero faith in Sacramento Kings ownership. And yes, I'm saying ownership because you know what? I don't think it's Monty McNair. I don't. I really don't. Was it Daryl Morey who absolutely loved McNair? I think he actually worked. Those two worked together, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I trust Daryl in that sense. I don't think people who worked with Daryl closely and learned from Daryl are going to go out and do this, whatever is happening in Sacramento. I think that's an ownership thing.
Well, and Monty McNair didn't hire Luke Walton. Like for all that you said,
did not. Yes.
That all you said about Jason Kidd and Luka in Dallas, multiply that by 10 with Luke Walton and De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento. Like Luke Walton took over this team that was, I'm going by Basketball Reference here. They were 5th in pace in Dave Yeager's final season in 2018.
And they were fun, by the way. They were fun.
You finally felt good about the Kings. They finished 4 games under 500, which I think that was their best record in since holy hell. Since the 2005-06 season. That was their best record. So you're like, okay, they might be finally putting it together. Then they go to Luke Walton and they go from 5th in pace to 20th, despite having one of the most athletic, electric, quick point guards in the league. They went up to 10th this past season. So maybe Luke realized like, oh, maybe we should actually play fast with one of the fastest players. But they were dead last in defensive rating. There was no reason to expect that to change this year. We've been trying to stay positive with our team previews. I can't do it for the Kings. I have no reason to believe this team is going to be good this year. I'm excited to see offensively they could be fun. This 3-guard lineup, Harrison Barnes at the 4, Richaun Holmes at the 5. They might just, first to 140 wins. But that's the only way I see this team having any modicum of success, and even that is a stretch.
You know what they feel like a little bit? They feel like the Bulls under late era Garpax, where there just isn't a whole lot of talent. There isn't a clear set direction. It's all kind of patch job all the way through. Yeah. I really want for the Kings to give the front office for ownership to give front office a chance next summer and just say, all right, look, you've got the green light to do whatever. We'll budge out. We'll stay silent for an entire summer. Just go nuts. Do whatever you think is necessary. Everything is open. Trade whoever you like. Yeah, that's what I would love to see that.
I thought your question earlier was going to be like, should they start entertaining De'Aaron Fox trades?
Okay. No, so see, in a way they probably should because his value is going to be insane.
Right.
But at the same time, that's one of those things where you're giving up a guy who could be an all-NBA player just a couple years from now.
Yeah.
And then you'll be spending your time looking for another all-NBA player. So I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. Like, would I love to see the Kings trade him just for De'Aaron Fox's own sake? Yes. I would love that. Yeah. That's not going to happen. Oh, by the way, you brought up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Let's assume he's a 2, right? All the picks in the world in OKC for De'Aaron Fox.
Woo! Oh my God!
And then you run with a Fox, Shai, Poku. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, fill in the other 3. You and I could be the 3 and the 4.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I certainly got the weight from the position. But I mean, that's one I would love.
Yeah. Well, and I do think it's premature to have that conversation now. Yeah, but if Haliburton continues to build on what he did as a rookie, if Davion Mitchell, he looked really good in summer league. So if he carries that over, and now you do have a scenario where it's like, oh, okay, we've got 3 small guards, all of whom are looking pretty promising. Like, we know what we have in Fox. We like what we've seen early on from these other 2 guys. We are going to have to make a choice at some point. Fox is going to have the most trade value for that. Like, that's where you could start seeing that train of thought happen. But yes, I agree. It's too early to be having these conversations.
Way too early. And we just made Kings fans hurl by entertaining the thought of moving Fox, I think.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your 28-win season in the meantime.
Yeah, well, they're hurling either way.
Yeah.